Hi, everybody. I'd like that music to be a little cheesier. Welcome to the debut of my very, very wildly successful television talk show program, Meet and Greet. I've always wanted to do something like this. I'm not going to lie. And what better time than now to do something I've always wanted to do? We certainly have the time. Of course, my first call was to my friend, Ruby Locknar, who is a wonderful singer, but even more importantly, in this case, a wonderful producer. She helped me get Cast Party up and running on YouTube, and that's been just a wild success. So it's been so fun. But we're going to have so much fun doing this every once in a while, maybe every week, I don't know, talking to ridiculously talented people, and then having you ask questions, anything you want. So keep it clean. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm hearing everybody in the streets banging their pots and pans. That's so sweet. If you're not in New York, or if you're in a city that might not be doing it, people lean out their window and they clap and they bang the pans and they cheer for the first responders right now. It's such a lovely thing. Anyway, the second call I made after I spoke to Ruby was to my friend Linda Lavin. Okay, nobody's funnier, nobody's smarter, nobody's better to talk to. Here's why. Linda actually listens in a conversation. I know. She connects. Who does this? Most people are just waiting for their turn to talk, I find. So if you're watching, and you are, it's probably because you're a fan. You're a fan of her theater work. You're a fan of her television work. You're a fan of her nightclub work. Of course, you're a fan. I'm a fan. We're all fans. Oh, look, it's Linda Lavin.
Oh, wow. Jim, what an introduction. You are so handsome and adorable and sweet.
You look
Thank
beautiful.
You. I'm gonna really listen now.
Now you have to.
That's right. I have to be all those things you said, funny and smart. I just want to be pretty.
You look really pretty.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to be on your show, on your debut.
You're on my program.
I am. Look at us. We're doing this.
Look
I
at us.
haven't seen you in the flesh in 2 months.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, now, over 60 days.
Tell that I don't want to think about that. That's too depressing.
Well,
tell the
I'm
people.
Seeing you now, so I'm happy.
Yes, I know. I feel like we're having a moment.
Oh yeah, we are.
Tell the people, because I know you want to. Tell how we met.
You and I, we met at the White House at the presidency. We met actually before the White House. Didn't we meet on the mall?
We did. We met on the mall.
The Clinton inaugural.
That's
right. Clinton oh my God, look at us. Now that's the Clintons' first state dinner after the inauguration.
Look at that cast.
Look at that cast. Carol
Who should we say?
Lauren Bacall. Jim
Barbara
Caruso, Cook. Phyllis Newman.
Jim Naughton.
Go ahead.
Rita Moreno. Yep. Savion Glover. Rita's dancers, wonderful dancers.
Green.
Adolph Green was in the audience. If you look at the back there, right under Bill Clinton, you'll see Hillary's hairdo.
So
she was there. That's when she was just.
What she was wearing, Jim?
I do. Do I ever?
It was the first time we'd ever seen the cold shoulder.
That's right.
She wore the Donna Karen cold shoulder dress before anybody else.
That's right.
It was their first state dinner, and it was all the governors of the states and territories. And we sang Big D together.
We sang a lot of stuff together.
Right.
Yes, Ann Richards threw her program up in the air.
That's where we met, and we spent the day there. You and I, we just became friends immediately. We knew where the good stuff was. And you and I would go into the green room and the blue room and the yellow room and the red room and taking pictures of each other as if we belonged there. And I remember when the helicopter landed on the lawn. And Bill Clinton, the president we had hoped for and voted for, it was really thrilling because he was our president for the first time for me in a long time. And we stood at the window and saw him get out of the helicopter. And then we got to sing and perform for them that night. It was, an out-of-body experience, but it did happen. And there you've got the picture to show it.
Don't you feel like that was one of the best nights of your life? I will
Ever.
never forget it.
I won't forget it either. I was seated at the table, at Al Gore's table, the vice president's table. I was so nervous. I couldn't speak to anybody. Plus I had to sing in a little while. So it was so exciting. It was one of the best nights of my life, of course. I mean, you dream about that stuff, and sometimes you dream about that stuff.
I still dream about that
now.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not now. Oh,
No.
ouch.
Sorry. We had our time.
Yeah, we did have our time.
We were very
Okay.
lucky.
So you, Linda Lavin, are probably the most active person I know. You go from project to project, remodel to remodel. How is Lockdown Linda spending her time?
Well, the reason I sit at the piano is because I wanted to let you know that this is pretty much where I spend most of my time, between the piano and the kitchen. And then doing my shows at the end of the piano with Billy on Wednesday afternoons. We do our matinee performances, but we have to stay 6 feet apart. But I've cooked.
But you guys live in the same building.
We live in the same building.
So that makes it legal.
That's how we can do it. That's right. And it's just the two of us. But I come to the piano, and this is the piano I grew up with. This was my mother's piano, and it's followed me all over the country. And some days I just sit here and play and sing, which is something that I love doing, and it helps me to connect with what matters to me, which is, my first language was music. You know, my mother said I sang before I spoke. I don't know if that's true, but it's a fun story to hear. She says I stood up in my crib and I sang "God Bless America," and I hadn't spoken a word yet. I was saving it.
Show people what you do when you're just sitting around entertaining yourself.
So I like to put songs together. I think that songs are like conversations, that one song reminds me of another. So this is something I put together, and it's look at us, baby, up all night, tearing our love apart. Aren't we the same two people who lived through years in the dark? Every time I try to walk away, something makes me turn around and stay. I can't tell you why. When we get crazy, it just ain't right. Boy, I get lonely too. You don't have to worry, just hold on tight, 'cause I love you. We make it harder than it has to be. I can't tell you why. And every time I meet, at each and every corner, with nothing but disaster, I hold my chin a little higher, hope a little longer, build a little stronger castle in the air. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I walk a little faster.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you. I need a piano tuner. It's just, no one can come in the building these days. But
Right. Oh my gosh.
little tuning would help. But those two songs, so that's the Eagles song. And then I was just playing it one day, and I shortened it for tonight because it could be a little too long for the whole song. But I Walk a Little Faster by Cy Coleman and Carolyn Lee. So they go together for me. They're like songs that mean tell the same story in two different generations.
You're a good storyteller.
Thanks.
When you're just sitting around, when you're not playing, are you binge watching anything?
Oh, yeah. And I'm also cooking. I made a fantastic bunch of stuffed cabbage rolls today. My hairdresser in Los Angeles sent me the recipe, Michael Ward. And God, they are good. And then I made a meatloaf, and then I made a birthday cake for Billy's partner, Doug. It's his birthday yesterday. So today was about cooking. Then what I'm binging on is, I'm about to start Billions. And then I'll watch Nathan Lane start Sunday on his Penny, what's it called? Penny, the City of Angels, Penny something. But I've been binging, this is something no one's been doing but me. There's a channel called Start. It's 1255 on Spectrum. It's all the old shows. It's right next door to where they show Alice and a lot of those shows from that generation. But Start is a dramas, 1 hour cops and female cops, mostly female-oriented shows. And the show I've been binging, Jim, is Medium with Patricia Arquette and Jake Weber. And wow.
You love
I
it?
do 2 episodes a day. I love it. I've watched all 7 seasons. I'm up to I don't want it to end. But yes, I did that. And then Ricky Gervais's show, his 2nd season just came on, and I finished that. I was bereft when it was over. I love him, and he's a wonderful actor, and it's a wonderful show. Funny and moving.
Have you seen what I just started last night, Mrs. America?
That's the show about Gloria Steinem, Phyllis
Schlafly, and Bella Abzug.
Are you enjoying it?
I am. I mean, that's a time that I'm interested in and certainly lived through, but was not a part of that revolution by any stretch. But it's fascinating, and I think you'll be interested because you knew some of those people.
I sure did.
That all happened. Speaking of those people, let's talk about Alice.
Well, it's Alice who introduced me to those people. When I got the job of Alice, I had met Gloria Steinem at certain parties around this city, and I called her at Ms. Magazine, and I said, I'm going to do a story about a single working woman, a single mother, working woman. Can you get me in touch with women writers who can help me with story ideas? And she did. And then because Alice then started politicizing me, because I had no idea what was going on for working women and single mothers. And it was mind-blowing. And it opened up the world for me. And then I was asked to go to places to speak about the ERA, which that movie you're mentioning is about all that. And I was on a talk show with Phyllis Schlafly once, and the president of National Organization of Women. And we didn't get a chance to speak. It was horrifying. And her argument, which I am loath to watch the movie because sometimes when you've lived something, it's enough. But Gloria put me on the cover of Ms. Magazine because Alice represented 80% of all women in this country who work. And so she was so iconic in that representation that I got to be on the cover of a magazine, of Ms. Magazine, which, by the way, was all about harassment at work, sexual harassment at work.
Oh, that article was?
1979. Yes. So it was all about wages, equal pay, and the very issues that are still ongoing. So
crazy, right?
Yeah. Life really opened up.
We have that cover. Ruby, can we show that cover? That Ms. Magazine cover? Are you? Oh, no.
Oh, that's,
oh, that was a medley of your. That was a medley of your covers.
That was.
It's the one that says Ms. at the top. That's Alice with blowy, flowy hair. It's so cute. Well, we'll talk
But
about it
she
in a
was a
minute.
big help to me, and I was also invited to march with her on the front line with her and Bella Abzug in a big
That we
march in
have too. We have a
Washington.
great picture of
I
that.
think you have a picture of that.
Oh, we don't have that, Ruby says.
Oh, we don't. All right. Another time.
Aren't you glad
I
you
have
sent
it.
me that?
If anybody wants to see, I'll post it tonight.
Okay, you should. You totally should, because it's an
I will.
iconic picture of this long. It's a march, but you, Bella Abzug. Oh, there it
we
is.
go. There
Look
it
at
is.
that.
You did have it.
Look
I am.
at that.
Look at that.
Gloria Steinem, Bella Abzug, Linda Lavin, and a whole
Yeah.
bunch of people.
Yeah, the ERA,
Unbelievable.
Equal Rights Amendment.
And then you gave it. Is that the day you gave the speech?
No, that's another time when I was at the Washington Monument. That was that was a great big Labor Day rally. You know, I had never spoken in front of large groups of people, Jim. So this was, you know, terrifying for me, and also extremely alien.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'm an actor and I'm a singer, and that's what I do in front of people. But when they asked me to come and speak to the issues of working women, it behooved me to start learning what those issues were as I was representing them. And so I was very nervous, and they gave me speech writers, and I learned a lot. And I thought, wow, the best thing to do is to go in my Alice uniform, because she speaks volumes. I don't have to say a word. I just have to show up, right? In that waitress outfit. There she is.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
The power you had all of a sudden.
Exactly. And speaking to organization leaders of unions from all over the country, and they all knew Alice. They all knew Alice. So
that's amazing. You had to get very educated very quickly.
I did. Yeah, I did.
What would she be doing today? What would Alice be doing today?
Well, my friend, I think she's doing the same thing that she's always done. I think she's still waiting tables. I think that, you know, if possibly Mel left the diner to her, she'd be running it, and then she'd be up to here in debt. Because, thank you, Mel. Probably that, right?
I see her with a string of diners, like Mildred Pierce.
Oh, wouldn't you love that? Of course you would love that. You'd like to see me all dressed up like that, and so would I.
Yeah, slapping your daughter around.
Oh, yeah. Well, she doesn't have one. That would be her daughter-in-law. She had a son.
She could have found one. Yeah.
She could have found one. But I think that, you know, that the real Alice, and I think that she is the real Alice, is caught between two generations, between her parents and her kid. They all keep coming back.
Yes.
I don't think she's ever really had freedom on her own. But, you know, I'm meeting people now, young people, younger people than I, who tell me that Alice raised them, that they went home from school, they were latchkey kids, or they went home from school during reruns after Alice was on for years at night for 9 years. Then we were on in the afternoons, and kids would go home from school and watch Alice. And I've met people who told me that I was a great mother to them.
Oh.
And that never occurred to me.
That is very touching.
It touches me so much.
You were mentoring without even knowing it.
Right. She was a wonderful mother to Tommy. You know, she listened and she cared to, you know, she learned as he did to go, you know, she learned as she went along. And she was open-minded and closed-minded and difficult and scared and feisty, but she was full of energy and full of life, and people loved being around her.
We have a question
watch
here.
The show every week, I think.
Now, you people at home, be sure and type in your questions. We'll try to get to all of them. But Bill Westmoreland, who happened to take this beautiful photo of you on the cover, has a question. Would you consider doing Alice now? Alice in 2020.
You know, people have come to me with the idea, and I do consider it. You know, I do consider it because I think that Alice now is as important as she was then. She's She's about 50, 60 maybe. And we care about those women, and those women are the lifeblood of the society. They have raised their children. They are in some ways caught between the two generations. They still have to work. There's no retirement going on there with these women, because what could they have possibly saved, you know? And so, yeah, I think there'd be some fun in it. You know, I think she's free. I think she's free in many ways that she wasn't earlier on. And I think that my idea about Alice is that she runs a diner, and she bought the place next door, and it's a bowling alley. And the guy that runs it is her boyfriend sometimes when she feels like it.
Oh, I like it.
Right?
A professional bowler.
Yes. I've talked with my friend Marco Pinette, who's a wonderful writer, and we've dished these ideas around. You know, Marco is the head writer on Mom. And what I love about the bowling alley is she opens the door once in a while that's in the storeroom, and you hear the pins going down, and just shut that door. But that's when you just hear it. You never see the bowling alley. You just hear it.
Oh, I love that. I love that kind of a shtick.
Yeah.
Now I know you were here in town originally this trip to do a new play called The Bedwetter.
Yes.
And obviously that all kind of has been postponed. Tell me what you know about that.
A year hence. It was supposed to have opened first preview April 25th, and it will have its first preview next year, please God, on April 25th. It's written by the wonderful Sarah Silverman, Josh Harmon, and who wrote Bad Jews, wonderful writer. And it's based on her autobiography. Oh my God, she's just brilliant and adorable and beautiful. Annie Kaufman is the director. We have Zoom conversations once in a while. In fact, I was supposed to do one today, but life got too crazy. What with your show and cooking, I couldn't. But we talk.
Cabbage rolls.
And the fact is, it's going to be a musical, and the music was written by Adam Schlesinger, and Adam was struck by the virus and passed. The horrible, tragic, sudden, and so we're keeping together, which is a very good thing. Their spirit is so welcoming, and so they just call me and say, we just want to talk. So we talk once a week.
Great.
And they're wonderful people, and I'm a big fan of Sarah's as a performer, and I'll be playing her Nana, who she was very close to, and she was one of three sisters, and this is based on her book, and it's called The Bedwetter, and I've got a couple of great songs. She's a smoker and a drinker, and who doesn't want to play that? And a big mouth.
You do not play the titular role.
Thank you. No.
I'm guessing.
You said. No, I
just like saying that word. Linda, we're here to talk about a CD.
Yeah.
You just recorded your second solo CD in just a few years. And it's so beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Love Notes.
Yes.
Bill Westmoreland did the photo. The packaging is so delightful. Beautiful packaging on the inside. Oh, this is a pretty portrait.
Yes, it is.
Can you see that?
It's a lot of light bouncing off it. Tip it the other way, honey.
I'm tipping.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, good. You know who did that? My husband did that, Steve Bakunis. Oh, he did this portrait behind me as well. I wanted you to see that.
So talented, crazy talented.
Yes. And Club 44, the record company, Wayne Hahn, Joel Lindsay, came to me and made a record deal, just like the old days, and gave me 6 beautiful pages, Jim. And the songs on this album, and Billy Stritch is my musical director. And, you know, Jim, I wouldn't be doing any of this if it weren't for you. You're the one. I would come to see you in your club act, and I'd say, you're magnificent. You're amazing. How do you do this? And you'd say, you should do this. And I'd go, no. And you bent my arm backwards and said, I got you a job. Now you have to do it. You got me a job.
Do you remember that? That was nuts.
Forget it. In the Poconos. And you
but
said, now you got to do it. got you a
They
job
kind
and
of
you're
gave
gonna get
us
paid.
the it was like cabaret camp. It was
know.
you and me
It
and a
was-
musical director,
That's right.
and we just created something so much fun and so brilliant. And it
You
ended
came
up,
to my house in Wilmington,
yeah. Oh, that's
and
right.
we went through all my albums and all my cocktail napkins on which I had written songs for a million years. And you said, do them, let's do them. And you shaped that show, and you got me back on stage because I had done it years ago when I couldn't get work in the theater. I had worked in all those downstairs clubs in the Village, but you got me back in the cabaret nightclub scene. And so now I'm making an album. So you wrote some of the liner notes on this album. It's
I
called
was
Love
proud
Notes.
to. Now
Thank you.
tell me how what makes a good Linda Lavin song for you?
It depends on the song, but I what came to mind was right away. What came to mind is the story. What tells my story? You know how people are always saying you should write a book to celebrities, Jim? I'm sure they've said it to you because we have stories. I'd rather have root canal without anesthesia than write a book. Okay, it's as simple as that. I do not. I mean, have you ever met a writer who told you that they loved sitting down to write?
No, I
have
can't
not.
imagine.
They're always complaining about how hard it is. They've got block. They can't write. They can't work. It's lonely. And I think, why would I want to do something like that? That sounds.
And somebody's
so
going to get
awful.
mad. You're gonna make somebody very pissed off at some point.
Well, if you're going to do a tell, I'm not going to do a tell all. So
no, but you don't need to do that.
When you ask me about, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
You don't need to do that. Your stories
I have
are
a
in
nightclub
they're in your songs. Absolutely.
So that's why I choose the songs that are on this album are songs that I've been doing in the act. So I know them real well. You want to know your songs before you record them. You know, you don't want to go in and still be flimsy and unsure. But these are songs that tell about me, songs that I grew up with, songs that tell about my life. It's a very wide-ranging bunch of songs. It's American Songbook, it's Brazilian, it's Steely Dan, because those are the stories that tell about me. And I want you to know about me without me having to write a book or talk too much in the act. The song tells the story, you know. So these songs, one of them, the beautiful centerpiece of the album, is a ballad called Stars Would Fall. And that was written by the executive in charge of production at Club 44 Records, Wayne Hahn, and his partner Joel Lindsay, who's the A&R man. It's a beautiful ballad, beautiful ballad. So that's an original. And Billy and I have been working for years on material. What tells my story? What do I feel like singing? Aaron Weinstein is our violinist. I've got a 5-piece band of extraordinary musicians. And so we get together and Billy and I get together, and sometimes Aaron comes over and Aaron will write a chart. We'll say, let's do this. And then I want to put these two songs together. So, you know, we do, Billy's going to remember the songs better than I am. I'm sitting right here. I can't remember one of them right now.
Well, he's here, you know.
Billy is?
Yeah. Would you like to see him?
I would.
I think, uh-oh.
Wait a minute.
Is he coming?
Oh,
Oh my God, I'm here.
How do we do it?
Oh my God, hi. Okay, before we go any further, can I just say that you, Linda, and you, Jim, are my two best friends in probably the whole world, and I'm having the best time listening to the two of you talk. It is a fantastic interview. It is great. If I didn't know you, it wouldn't matter because I'm so interested in all of this. Okay.
Billy.
That's the end of that.
Nice. That's
it's
so
true,
nice.
though. It's totally true. I'm having the best
good
time.
night, everybody. It doesn't get better than that.
No, it's true. It's totally true.
So gracious. Thank you.
It's
Billy,
true.
Tell our audience of millions and millions of people how your musical relationship with Linda started.
Listen, I have to say, okay, all right. So, Jim, you were the one that got Linda involved in doing her first nightclub act, and I think she'd probably been doing it for a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where was the first gig. It was someplace.
The Poconos.
The Poconos, right? And then somewhere in that first year, she did a gig up in Mamaroneck at the Emmeline Theatre. And I went up to see it because Linda and I have been friends as long as you and Linda have been friends, practically. And I went up to see this act, and it was so much fun. I mean, we were already great friends, Linda and Steve and I, Steve, her husband, and drummer at the time, already great friends. And I saw this act, and I was so entertained by it. And I was so happy for the whole 90 minutes of the act. And then I think I took the train up to Mamaroneck, but Linda and Steve had a driver to take them back to New York. So they gave me, you want to ride back? I'm like, yes, let's take a ride back. And somewhere along the ride, I mean, I was loving the act so much. And the whole time I was watching the act, I was feeling a little left out of it. It's so weird.
Because you were.
Because I was not part of it. Right. And I said, I think I just blurted out, why am I not playing
You did.
And Linda, I think at the point, I was playing for Liza a lot, and I was playing for all different people and touring. And I think probably just in spite of our wonderful friendship, I think you were a little reticent to ask me.
Was.
Yeah. I think you were a little scared. I think maybe you thought I was like, I don't have time, please.
Too big for me.
Yeah. You know
Absolutely.
what? Absolutely not. And you
said,
know what?
Why have you not asked me to do this with you?
I did. And by the time we got to New York, we were set. It was set in stone. It was going to be you and me and
so
Steve.
Thrilled.
And we went from there. And I feel like that was about 17 or 18 years ago now. But I have to say, that has been some of the most fun I've ever had in my career, the most fun work. We have gone look, it's us.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture.
We have gone to great places together. We have done our act look at us. Oh, we're at the White House. That's you, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
That's a different White House.
That's a different White House. There's your sister Jocelyn's second.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's
And your niece.
Sally.
And Donna Shalala.
Oh my God.
Our very close friend.
You remember when that was the 50th anniversary of the founding of the state of Israel, 1998, correct?
I read a poem of Golda Meir.
You did, and Bill Clinton was there, absolutely.
Look at my legs.
But I digress. I have to say that it's been the most fun times that I've had. We have had such great times on the road. We laugh. Linda and I actually about 3 months ago, we were booked to work in San Diego and Palm Springs, the Purple Room, and we had done both of those venues before with the group, with the trio and the quartet. And not that I don't love that, but about a month before, Linda said, how about just you and me go? How about we do just the two of us, like a really old-fashioned, traditional kind of cabaret act? I'm like, I'm game. I'm up for that. And we went and we spent about a week together on the road. We actually had a car driver take us from San Diego to Palm Springs. We have bonded so many times over the years, but it's just some of the best times that I've had in my life. We had the best time. And, I'm on the 5th floor. Linda's on the 8th floor right there. She's right above me as we speak.
Yes.
And, I just treasure the friendship. I treasure the musical relationship. It goes so deep, I have to say. So
we just got a question for the two of you. Ruby, pull that up.
Oh. How did we end up being neighbors in the same building? Linda, you can tell them that.
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, when I first came to a party that you gave, Billy, I loved this building and I loved your apartment. And I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina for 17 years. I lived there. And I had an apartment in New York on the Upper West Side.
Fabulous apartment, but it was great.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was.
It was big, and it was time to get rid of it and moved to North Carolina. So I had no place to live in New York, so we stayed in hotels, Steve and I. And then I came to do a play. It was 2008, and I came to Lincoln Center to do Other Desert Cities.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? If I could live in this neighborhood, not way up there in the Upper West Side, because I was on 92nd Street. That's like the country.
Well, it's a little far away.
Cows up there. That's where they used to have cows.
That's right.
It was all farmland.
It was.
But anyway, I asked the broker, is there anything in this building? I have a friend, Billy Stritch lives in this building. He said, nothing. So then I really started yearning. I hear nothing and I go, I'm gonna pray on it. and will it to happen. So I let it go. And we looked at a bunch of other apartments. And one day he called and he said, there's an apartment.
Yes.
And we came in. I loved this building. And I thought, wouldn't that be sweet to live in a building where I have my dear friend, Billy?
Oh.
You know, you're like the brothers I never had, the two of you. We're
I know.
a family. We
really are. All
we
three of
are
us.
a family. We are a chosen family. And so we looked at the apartment. It was within our financial reach. It was available. And we went and had a coffee, Steve and I. We were so nervous. We were shaking like leaves. I mean, you think we could do it? And
You
and
did
we did it.
You
And
did
that's
it.
how we came to live in this
You bought the
building.
apartment 3 floors above me, and you loved it so much that you bought the apartment across the hall
A few years
a year
later.
later, a couple of
Yeah.
years later, and then you sold the apartment above me, and you still kept the one
Yeah,
that has the
because
nice
then you
sunlight
sold
coming in.
apartment.
I'm still in the one that has like no sun, but that's
No,
okay. But
I do. I have light. That's
you
true.
have
I
light.
can hang
But
out this window and bang pots and pans.
it is
That's
one of the joys of my life, and I'm so grateful for the fact that you are in the
I
building.
know.
with
I'm
me.
so jealous.
I
I
know.
feel the same. Well,
Yeah,
come
it's
on,
good.
and you
Come
Is
on
there
over.
anything available?
Jim,
We
put
can
on a
talk
mask
about it
and come on
later.
over and hang out with us.
We'll talk about
Billy
it
and
later.
I, we
So-
walk our dogs together.
We
Billy
do.
has
So
been-
I don't have a dog. So Billy, you've been on stage with many vibrant performers,
I'll say.
but enough about me. Tell me what's it like to share a stage with Linda and her energy?
Well, Linda and I just have so much connection and so many inside kind of. We agree on the same things. We laugh at the same things. There's such a shorthand between us, and what's wonderful about working with Linda is that. I mean, I always love collaborating with singers, the accompaniment and the give and take. But Linda really allows me to give her a little bit of coaching. And she has such great musical taste that she throws in fantastic ideas for songs and medleys. And it's just, we spark each other in such a great way. So when we go on stage, it's like we just smile and she can look at me in the middle of a song and just give me a wink or a look. And it's like, it's
the
just so
best.
much fun. I
It's a
have
real
to
deep
say,
connection.
it really is.
It's a
The
deep
minute we go on
connection.
stage, the 5 minutes before you go on stage, you're nervous and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
please, let's start the show. And then we go on stage and it just flies by because it's like flying. It's like this great 90-minute flight. And we get off and we just hug each other and laugh when it's over. It's like, it was so much fun. And
I'll just say the music-
it's spontaneous. It's never the same each time. Linda
and
is
that's
so
scary.
Linda is so damn musical, and her acting is so fantastic, and the stories are never quite the same each time. And every show is special, and I'm always engaged. It's like I've worked with a lot of people, and some nights it's like, oh, the same show. Okay, this was just pretty much never the same. It's just always.
We're in the
perfection.
moment. We
are in the moment.
And
We are in the
we're gonna
moment.
be in the moment together.
Yes.
And what we
Aren't
did
you
on this
proud?
album,
Aren't you
just want
proud
Oh.
of this incredible product
This
we got
project.
going here?
This project is one of the most fantastic things I've ever had the chance to be a part of. And Linda came to me. We did the first album about 9 years ago called Possibilities, and Linda produced that herself. We did it down in North Carolina with a fine group of musicians, but it was a self-produced thing. And then Jim, when you and I met our friend Wayne Hahn, and
That changed everything.
it changed everything.
Changed everything for us.
And you and I and Clea Blackhurst have been doing this Christmas show for a long time, as I'm sure a lot of people, some people know. And Wayne,
Many people know.
12 people at least know that. We've been doing our Birdland Christmas show, and Wayne and Joel, had formed this new label, and we're very interested in recording Birdland Christmas album for the 10th anniversary of our show. So first of all, how lucky were we that happened, that somebody came along with a budget and did that. And then I came, and Linda all last year was saying, I want to do another album. I'm like, let's do it. And I'm thinking it's going to be a self-produced thing. Let's block out the time. It's going to cost this much, da-da-da. And I went to Wayne and I said, would you be interested in doing an album with Linda Lavin? And before I could get it out, he was like, yes, I want to do it. And so this whole thing fell together. And talk about a luxury to have a fantastic company behind you with just such tasteful people behind it who really understand the material, who understand the artist, who give us a lot of freedom to do the kind of thing we want, and to actually enhance it with beautiful orchestrations. And I mean, it's one of the most fantastic projects I've ever been involved with, and I've done a few. So I have to say, I'm very proud of this one. Very.
Well, I love it. It's so beautiful.
Sing
Thanks
some
for
of the songs that are on the album. We just a few. I mean, we
Yeah.
opened
Well, I mean, it's got
I've got my eyes
it
on
don't
you.
mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. I've
Right.
got my eyes on you, which is a great Cole Porter
I
song.
Wish I Were in Love Again.
I wish I were in
Yes.
love again. I think just when you think it's going to be a real traditional kind of great American songbook, all of a sudden we launch into a great Steely Dan song, Black Cow,
Black.
which is like that comes out of nowhere. And Linda has, it's part of Linda's story, the lyric to that song. And then Linda does that great longer version of what she just did earlier. I Can't Tell You Why into I Walk a Little Faster. And then we get to sing together on a medley of two Bobby Short songs called Ace in the Hole
It's my
and
favorite.
Rap Tap
Love
on Wood. And that's one of my favorites too, because
Love it.
I love us.
And then we do the
together.
Jobim song, No More Blues.
No More Blues.
What a
Yes,
band.
absolutely. Yep. It's a great band.
Guitar,
Absolutely.
bass.
Oh, yeah.
drums,
Yeah. We got a terrific band.
do a little
And then
something with
Wayne did these fantastic string arrangements,
Orchestra.
horns arrangements.
33-piece orchestra.
It's really a magical album, and I
How
encourage.
lucky am I?
I'm not just saying that because I'm involved with it. Everybody that I know that have downloaded it or bought it have listened to it multiple times, and I would encourage, especially in this time that we're all cooped up, go to your favorite site, download Love Notes, because it is really a wonderful musical ride, I have to say.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Billy Stritch.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you,
Thanks
Linda.
for
Thank you,
joining us,
Jim.
Billy.
My pleasure. I'm going to listen to the rest.
Oh, I hope I'm interesting.
I hope so too.
Linda, first of all, we have to say that everybody needs to go to your YouTube channel, because this is how the people are communicating at this point.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. They can follow you on you. They can click and follow your YouTube. You know what I'm trying to say.
I'm going
I
to
just-
try.
I just sounded 90 years old. But go to Linda's YouTube channel, because she's doing all kinds of wonderful things. Their weekly concert that they do together, so much fun.
Yeah.
That's on Facebook and YouTube and
Yeah.
Birdland's Facebook page.
Lovely.
Oh, lovely. But we have some questions. So I want to go to the questions. Ruby, do you have some interesting things to show us here? I'm going to put on glasses so I can actually read them.
Okay.
Oh, Aaron
I'm gonna lean
Chrysler.
forward.
Linda, of everything you've accomplished in your life, and there is so much, what has been your most cherished memory? That's nice.
Oh, I can't possibly have one moment. My most cherished memory is whatever comes up in the moment when you ask me that question. I haven't got one cherished memory. Of all that I've done in the work that I've done, the recording, that's a cherished memory. And that was recent. That was November. Then I go back to The Tale of the Allergist's Wife, or the performing a comedy that I saw people falling out of their seats in a Broadway theater, playing Mama Rose in Gypsy, meeting Jim Caruso at the White House. And cherished memories. There are more than one. Alice.
Oh, Alice.
What she did for me. Yeah, many cherished memories. Meeting my husband, getting married again when I thought I never would, having a lovely luncheon wedding in an antebellum house in the South, just for a few people. And there are many, and I keep making memories every day. So I hope you are too.
Nice. Zachary Wilson asks, what's a dream role you haven't done yet? I
don't know. I don't know. I don't think about what I haven't done. And I
Oh,
don't yearn to do
that's
anything.
so smart.
Is it?
Well, I think that's very smart. I don't think about what I haven't. No, because you're always looking, you're very present. You are always in
I
the
am.
moment.
This, I know that what I want to do next Wednesday, I haven't even told this to Billy, so I'll just tell it to America, is I want to do a section on big band singers, on the girl singers in the big bands. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. And that's about as far as I can go, is to next Wednesday. Because I can, we only get one day at a time.
That's
So I'm just thinking about
fine.
dinner right now.
I hear spaghetti is in your
I
future.
hear so too,
Uh,
yes.
John
cabbage rolls.
Monton says, we were looking
Oh.
forward to seeing you in the bedwetter, but we know that's been postponed. Would you be able to tell us anything about the character you'll be playing and the songs that were written for your character?
No. And no, John, I am not able to do that. I would not give that away for the world. She's a feisty, fabulous grandmother who loves this girl, and she's a big part of Sarah Silverman's life. And she's extremely attractive to me. I read the script and I thought, when you read a script, Jim, and you start reading it out loud, you want to do it.
Wow.
It pops off the page. But I haven't learned the script and I haven't learned the songs, so I can't share anything with you, honey. So John is a fan, Jim, from the time he was a young boy. He and his mother used to come to see me and everything. I used to run down the street from them. They used to stalk me.
From them, not to them.
And then finally I just turned around. I thought, oh, I've got to meet these people. They would come night after night and sit in the front row. They just had a feeling about me. And finally I just fell in love with them. And they're just the sweetest people. They just brought me bagels last week from New Jersey.
Oh, John, that's a nice
I know.
present.
I love John and his husband, Bill, and his mother, Ann. And they're just wonderful. So that's
nice.
John's question. So
How nice.
no, John, sorry. That's as much as I can
Ruby?
do.
Sean Degenhart, how much fun was it working with that great ensemble on Alice?
So much fun. 9 years. 9 years, a long time for a series. You do, 23 episodes a year. You're driving to work with your best friend. And I drove to work with the actress who played Vera. And she and I lived close together. And I'd pick her up at her house and we'd drive from the areas where we lived, the beach area, to Warner Brothers, to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Vic Tayback was the salt of the earth. We worked very hard. When you do a series that long, you make a family. A lot happens. People get married, they get divorced, babies are born, people die, new people come in, replacements come in. Polly Holiday was the first. Flo, everybody knows Flo. And after she left and was spun off, another actress who's came in and played Belle, and that was wow, I'm just going blank on names. Laura Dern's mother. Come on, we can do this.
You introduced me to her.
I did, yeah.
Her,
Okay.
I love her.
Wonderful actress who played.
We'll fix it in post.
Wow. And then Celia Weston came on and played Jolene. So Diane Ladd. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yes. So you travel together to work. You go home together. You go home separately. You're together. You're separate. Your lives. You see each other on weekends. You leave each other alone. You are a family. You're working like people who work in an office or in a bank or in a store, in retail. This is your work family, and you become involved with them in very deep ways because you're creating characters who have lives that are very different from yours, but that are inspired by your life too. Something comes up and you think, let's do a story about this, or So
How much of
it
a
was
part
fun.
of the writing were you able to be?
Well, once the people who came on, we had 5 producers in 2 years. It just was like a revolving door of people who came and went, came and went. They were trying to find the right tone for the show. And finally, Bob Carroll and Madeline Davis came on, and they were the creators of I Love Lucy. So they knew how to write. And they were extremely efficient. They were dedicated. They were powerful. They were controlling. They were smart. And there wasn't a lot of contribution. There was the attempt at it. But on the floor, once the writers go away and you're working with the director on the floor, all of the actors, and you go, you know what? Could we try this? Then you start to get creative. Then the writers come down and they say, no. Then they say, no, you need to write what we wrote. Or they listen to you and they, there is contribution sometimes. It depends on the team and it depends on the writers. Bob and Madeline were of a time when the script was the script. Now I've worked on Mom with Marco, and it's a very different, and a team of writers who are more fluid. I've worked with Mark Feuerstein on 2 shows, more fluid. You write, sometimes you change the writing as you go. If it depends on the chemistry and the kind of actor that wants to have that kind of contribution. I love the contribution. I like collaborating.
I bet you do.
There's no such thing as it has to be only one way. It can be a lot of different ways.
Right. And who wouldn't want, after all of the experiences that you've had in your life on stage and off, who would not want to hear your suggestions?
Yeah, I'd like to see that list.
Yeah. Ruby, do we have another question? Oh, Stephanie says, what's giving you hope during this lockdown period? How are you getting through this time?
Oh, wow. Hope is the word. Hope. And you can't see him, but my little dog, Mickey, who a lot of people know, is under the piano right now, which is his favorite place to sit when we play the piano, either Billy or I. And taking care of him every day. He wakes me up at 6. Sometimes he tries to wait till 6:15 or 6. But I take care of him. He's my focus. I am taking care of me. And cooking keeps me sane. Television, connecting with people. I find that when it's gloomy and dark out, and the weather is taking so long to become spring, I think that affects us psychologically. The most important thing for me to do, the thing that lifts my spirit, is to pick up the phone and call somebody and then have that connection with another human being. Because Steve is in Costa Rica. My husband is in Costa Rica with our kids, our family, our grandchildren, and the borders are closed and he's not able to get here. And so I'm here, and I find that being with you, talking with you, texting, wow, I'm on that phone all the time. I'm texting, I'm watching television, and I'm connecting. I think connecting is so important. My own path, my own self-discovery path is keeping me focused on the things that I can change about my life, because we're in an out of control situation. There's nothing we could do about this except stay home, follow the rules, take care of ourselves and each other, and find out how to do this. Look what you're doing. As you were setting up the show today, you and fabulous Ruby, and setting up this camera here, I said to you, hey, this is how Charlie Chaplin started a whole studio in Hollywood. He and Paulette Goddard and the gang, they all went out, they left New York and they went to Hollywood and they started United Pictures, a little tiny studio. And this is what you're doing. Look at you. You've got your own show.
Everybody I know is
Concerts.
the output of creativity right now is unbelievable. And there's going to be some really good music, some really good plays, some really good musicals in the works, I'm sure.
I don't think I've been this creative in a long time, and I think it's because we don't have the distractions of the outside world. We're very honed to a simpler life.
That's exactly right. Well, in this current situation, it's certainly easy to be sad, to be depressed, to be blue. But I want to end this on a positive note. What are you looking forward to?
Well, you know, the girl in me, the romantic girl in me is looking forward to the man I love walking through that door like, you know, a Rita Hayworth movie, you know? And that's not going to happen right now. But I look forward to seeing him and holding him and being held by him and touching him and shopping. I look forward to shopping, Buster. I am going to that Nordstrom's right around the corner, which is way too expensive, that store, but it's
okay.
so beautiful. And I'm looking forward to buying some new towels. I'm so, no, the towels. I'm too familiar with these 5 towels that I have here, you know? And I'm looking forward to touching people.
Yeah.
And yet I think, I want to say that I believe that we're not going to go back to anything. I think that life has changed as we know it, and life is going to be different. But I look forward to going to your club and seeing you again perform. I look forward to performing at your club. I look forward to being together, having a meal together, you know, eating alone. It is doable, and we are strong, and we can do it, and we are tough, and we've done it before, and we've chosen a life that keeps us alone and singular. But there's something that's telling us we have to do it. That's different from choosing it. So what we get to do is this. How wonderful, how lucky am I that you invited me to do this evening with you. You made my life today.
Come on. We love you. Your beloved Linda Lavin. We are so excited for this beautiful new CD.
Thank
Love
you.
Notes.
Streaming. We have thousands
Stream
of
it.
streamers, Jim.
Buy it. Look for it on wherever good. Oh, there it is. Wherever good albums are sold. Spotify,
oh, that's adorable.
all of those things.
Yes.
All
Love
of those
Notes.
things. Linda, we'll see you very, very soon. I can't wait to sit in a nightclub with you.
I can't wait to
sit in Joe Allen and have a burger.
There's nobody like
listen to
you,
your
Jim.
Stories.
You've brought so many people to success. You've brought so many people to their true selves, to their authentic performing selves. You've done that. You are really unique as a performer, as a producer, as a promoter. There's nobody like you. Plus, you're so damn handsome, and you're so kind and sweet and funny. There's nobody like you. Never has been, never will be.
Go on.
I'm so lucky.
No,
so
go
grateful
on.
for you. Okay.
Linda, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Thank
to
you,
all of our viewers, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And to Ruby Locknar, our delightful producer, who's
Wonderful.
as cute and beautiful as she is smart and talented. Thank you for another great show. That's the end, you guys.
Wow, it went like a minute.
Thanks,
Bye,
Linda.
honey. Be well.
You too.